time is 6:30. I'd like to call this regular Board of Education meeting to order. At this time, I would like to invite Trustee Goodrich to perform the roll call of those Board of Education members who are present.
Certainly, Madam President. Trustee Schindler, Trustee Fields, Trustee Townsend, Trustee Goodrich, I am here. President Hawkins.
Here. We have 5 Board of Education members who are present and 2 members who are not here. Next, that takes us to the Pledge of Allegiance. If we can invite everyone who is in attendance to join us in reciting of the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next, that takes us to the acceptance of the agenda. Is there a motion at this time to accept the agenda as presented?
Madam President, Trustee Fields, move that the Board of Education accept the agenda as presented.
Thank you. A motion has been made by Trustee Fields. Is there support for this motion?
Trustee Schindler, support.
Thank you. Supported by Trustee Schindler. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? That motion carries. Next, that takes us to achievements, awards, and recognition. And at this time, I would like to turn it over to Dr. Zachary Ross.
Thank you, Madam President. Today, our students are out of school and staff, yet we still have our wonderful principal, Kelly Mickle from Erickson Elementary, who will come and talk about Erickson and their Leader in Me program.
So we are extremely proud of. The words up on the screen: we love learning, encourage one another, achieve goals together, do what is right. Those first letters spell lead, and that's part of our Erickson mission that we say every single day as a school. What button do I press? Not the arrows. Here, oh, I skipped one. Okay, so we became a Leader in Me school in fall 2017. We are in our 8th year as a Leader in Me school, and it was really a collective effort to get it started and to keep it going. And we focus on the 7 habits of highly effective people. And part of that process is building beautification. So it's changed a bit over the years. If you haven't been to Erickson, here's a snapshot of some of the beautiful murals teachers and staff have, students and staff have created together. And our second point of pride, last year, the Embracing Our Differences Art Contest winner was 4th grader Nova Lynn Hammond. She is now in 5th grade, and this is something we're all very proud of her for. She's super proud of it. We highlighted it in our Leadership Day last year. We're involved in a lot at Erickson, so we're super proud of all of our activities and the leadership roles that students have. We have a green team, a communications crew, which is student-led morning announcements. They write them, they read them, and they start every day out with a positive note. We have family fun nights, which are always well attended. We do book pals and robotics and Girls on the Run and just all of those things up there. And that's really what helps our students become leaders, is having all of those opportunities to be involved. And Grizzly Sunrise Club is up there. We have like 37 students coming every single day, and they start rolling in at 7 a.m. And it's a really great experience. And I want to give a shout out to Kevin Moore, who leads that program, and he pours his heart and soul into it. And so that's another point of pride. Hit the wrong button, sorry. Ms. Miller, who also works at Perry, she splits her time between Erickson and Perry. She coaches our Grizzly Junior Robotics Explore team. And last year they won the Team Model Award, and they're looking forward to this season called Submerged. And here are some photos of the team. And the one on the bottom is them at their competition. We also had Kid J visit. I don't know if anybody's heard of him, but he is a local rapper and product of YCS. I got to be his principal when he attended New Tech High School when we had that here. And he visited to spread his music and words of positivity, focusing on the importance of school. Everything he does is clean, and the kids, it was like Celebrity City. They wanted autographs, they wanted pictures. It was really sweet to have one of my former students come back to give back to our students. We also have a partnership with the University of Michigan. It's called Second and 10. This year, the University of Michigan's championship lacrosse team is who visits us once a month and reads with our second graders, and they love that time with the athletes in reading, and all of the second graders get to take a book home every time they come to read. It's not going to play my video, I guess. However, we received a bike donation, and we're able to raffle it off as incentive for Count Day. And the student who won it is not a student who usually wins anything. He's kind of lays low and he's pretty quiet at school. So it's really exciting for Matthew to win the bike. And that's a video of him riding it through the halls of Erickson. And then just last week, we had a author virtual visit for our fifth graders. This year, they're going to be doing novel studies aligned with HMH. And in partnership with our Community Reads, our fifth graders got to participate in an author study event with the author who wrote one of the novels they're going to be reading. So that was really exciting for them to see him, to hear him, and it was a virtual visit. So here's an example of what that looked like. But it was really exciting for the kids, and I know that it's going to make it more exciting for them to engage in reading that novel because they will have seen the author and they will feel like they know him. And that's our Prince of Prime. Is there any questions you might have about Erickson or anything like that?
Thank you, Ms. Mickle.
Thank
Wait, I don't know if the board has questions, but I just wanted to thank you for just a wonderful presentation to share all the good things that are happening at Erickson. Board, do you have questions or comments?
I don't have a question, but I'm always biased to Erickson. I was a Wildcat back in the day.
Okay.
So they still have shirts?
There's some
Oh,
little
okay.
field
I'll be in
pictures
touch.
around with the wild.
Well, oh, I'm not little, so. But you all do an amazing job there, and I love the atmosphere when you walk into the building.
Thank you.
Wonderful job. Thank you so much. Let's give them a hand. Next, that takes us to our 2024 WIDA Test Coordinator of the Year Award winner. And at this time, I will turn it back over to Dr. Zachary Ross, actually for the next 1, 2, 3. Make sure there's not another one. 4 presentations. Dr. Zachary Ross.
Thank you, Madam President. Next, I'll ask as Liz Sermon comes up, I just want to read this about what she was awarded for. Every year, our multilingual students take the WIDA test, and she is instrumental in coordinating and ensuring that our students have what they need as well as the staff, and even in making sure that our families understand what's happening in whatever language that they learn in, or speak in. So Ypsilanti Community Schools Outstanding Educator, Liz Sermon, has been selected as the recipient of the 2024 WIDA Test Coordinator of the Year Award. This prestigious award recognizes individuals who go above and beyond in their efforts to support multilingual learners and ensure a smooth and effective test administration. Liz has demonstrated exceptional leadership, organization, and a deep commitment to the success of students and teachers alike. Her efforts have made a significant impact not only within the district, but also in contributing to the broader mission of ensuring equitable access to quality education for all learners. Liz has consistently shown a dedication to managing the WIDA testing processes with precision and care. Her work has enhanced the ability of students to demonstrate their language proficiency and enabled teachers to receive the data they need to best support their students. It is because of this tireless dedication that Liz was selected from an impressive pool of candidates. We are celebrating Liz for this well-deserved recognition. Her contributions are a reflection of the values and educational excellence that the district promotes. We are excited to see the continued positive impact that she will make in the years to come. So we congratulate you, Liz.
Thank you so much. It's been a lot of years of doing it, so, but it's always a busy time, but it's good.
Can you share with them about what the students do during the testing, as well as you've really worked to help grow our population. You go to the Jewish Family Services meetings and get updates. So can you just share a little bit about what you've been doing? Because everyone doesn't know all the fantastic things that we know.
Yeah, we are almost at 600 students now. I just looked the other day and it was 581. So, and we've got probably another 5 registering this week at least. So, we have been working a lot with Jewish Family Services to bring in the refugee families and get them settled and enrolled in school. But there are also kids who are just coming every day from a variety of countries. And they just show up and they register, and a lot of times they hear from friends, oh, I need to put my child in school, and they say, yes, go to FC because we know all the teachers there. Our team of English learner teachers, multilingual lead, oh gosh, I can't even say it tonight, sorry. But the multilingual team has been around for a really long time, and they tend to stay in this district. They love what they do, and we have a lot of longevity with these families, so it makes it something that's kind of family oriented, and we see now there's some of the grandkids coming through, so that's been pretty fun. And then the WIDA test they take every spring in February and March. They have to do a listening section, reading, writing, and speaking. And we get those results then in June, and they are used for placement in language services for the following year.
Yes, trustee Fields.
WIDA, it started out for the with Washington, Iowa, no, Wisconsin, Iowa, Delaware, and Alabama, I believe. So it was the 4 states that started it. And it's the, she would ask me that now. You know, I can't think of what exactly it stands for at the moment, but it's the assessment. The last, you know, it's for the assessment. So.
Yeah, oh, you have another question? That's okay.
No, she works in partnership with the Jewish Family Services. And so they have meetings every month in the county. And they've been really supporting all of the refugees who come, and then they help them with housing, how to transition to school.
Many different.
Yes, all their transition services, and they've been truly directing people to our district because of the level of support that the families receive. And so, as she said, our numbers have are up close to 600.
Yes.
And they're pre-K 12. They don't just come at pre-K or kindergarten. They're coming as high schoolers, and really having them adapt to the environment has been so helpful. The team has really helped them do that acclimation. Some of the teams you'll see they're full of, they even play with our extracurriculars. Many of them join the soccer team and just are feeling like they really have that sense of belonging, even if they just got to the country. And that's it's hard to move from a different state, but moving from a different country, being a refugee, and that team makes sure that they feel valued, that they feel like truly a part of the community.
And one thing that I noticed this after this first quarter was the large number of English learners who were part of the honors assembly and had fabulous grades, like 3.5 and up. So No, that's part of Ann Arbor's district. Yeah, we have some of our high school kids at the traditional high school, AC Tech and STEM, and then we have some at ACE as well. It's, well, they partner with us to place the students. Sorry, yes, yeah, that's exactly what that is, yeah, over on State Street, Yeah, no problem.
Yes, trustee Goodrich.
I just wanted to express how exciting it is to see you and all of your hard work recognized with this award. I know that, and we're going to hear more later tonight about how our English language learner, multilingual learner population is growing, and it is really a testament to the work that you and your team have been doing, and to the amazing scholars that we have here. That they are. Thank you for sharing how well represented they are in the Honor Society, and it's like they're working that much harder to do all of that in a second or third language. So anyway, I didn't have a question. I just wanted to express how excited I am to see you and by extension your team recognized with this award, and express appreciation for all of the hard work that you do to make sure that these scholars are getting the supports that they need and deserve so that they can thrive here.
Thank you very much.
Other board comments, questions? Thank you, Liz Sermon. This is an outstanding and well-deserved award. We are fortunate to have you here at Ypsilanti Community Schools. Congratulations. Let's give her a round of applause.
I just want to share, as she's stepping out, there are other programs that Liz has really been involved in. We have, you've heard Dr. Lopez talk about the Grow Your Own grants. She's really been a part, essential to the part of ensuring that if teachers want to get additional credentials in the Grow Your Own so that they can be certified to teach students in our multilingual programs. She's been working on that. Our newcomer centers, making sure that the teachers are ready for that. We did get a person from, I don't know where Lady's from. From Columbia. Sure, because I know the board had, you know, just to inform, they hear things at the table, but sometimes when you're here, we might as well get a little bit.
Sure. Yeah, so Lady Sua Yepes, she is from Colombia, Bogota, Colombia, and she is one of our new kindergarten Spanish immersion teachers. We had so many children registering this year for Spanish immersion that we decided that we needed to split it into 2 classes, and so she was part of the international group that Jason presented with.
IAG, yeah.
And yep, and she is our first teacher who has come to us, and thus far she's been fabulous. She jumped right in, got going, and she's just a really fun part of the team. So yeah, she's been great.
Thank you for adding that, because I know it's just, might as well get a quick update on that. So we just appreciate that team and what has been happening. Next, National STEM and STEAM Day, November 8th. STEM and STEAM Day falls on November 8th. There's no way around it. Children are significantly better off with a strong science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematical skills. That's why STEM and STEAM education programs are so important. It's undebatable that these subjects push society forward. These programs help to find fun, engaging ways to teach them to students, which is all worth commemorating. So on November 8th, we celebrate STEM and STEAM Day here at YCS. We know that we have at Ford Early Learning Center is now part of the Magnet Grant, that's a STEAM school, as well as Holmes Elementary. And then we have the STEM Middle College. So we're going all the way up through lots of fun things that you'll be seeing coming from Director Turquoise Neal soon about all that is in place. Next, the Education Support Professional Day, November 20th. It's annually observed on the Wednesday during American Education Week. National Education Support Professionals Day honors the contributions of school support employees. These support professionals provide invaluable services and are essential partners in a child's education. The day honors a long list of professionals who keep schools running smoothly. They include all secretaries, classroom aides, cafeteria workers, maintenance workers, bus drivers, and others who support educators, school leadership, and the students too. These professionals do their part in making public schools exceptional for every child so they can be safe, learn, grow, and achieve. And at YCS, we have unbelievable, capable, and talented support staff. And so we just say thank you. And National Parent Involvement Day is November 21st. It's a day for America's parents, grandparents, and caring adults. National Parental Involvement Day was created in 1994 and is now the oldest family engagement event in education. This special day was created as part of American Education Week, and it's on the third Thursday of November. We want to raise awareness about the importance of family involvement in education and the positive impact it can have on student achievement. Throughout the years, we've seen firsthand the difference that engaged and involved parents can make in their children's education, whether it's helping with homework, attending parent-teacher conferences, or volunteering at school events. Every parent has a unique and valuable role to play in their child's education. That's why we are celebrating National Parent Involvement Day and continuing to foster meaningful engagement with families throughout the year. By participating in this special day, schools can recognize and celebrate the contributions of parents and volunteers, promote the importance of family and community involvement in education, and encourage collaboration and partnership, and promote the value of public education to the broader community. We just, again, thank our parents for their engagement and their involvement in our schools. We definitely could not do this without you. And then, lastly, Substitute Educators Day, November 22nd. The United States observes a Substitute Educators Day, which was instituted by the National Education Association. The purpose of this day is to highlight the role and importance of the substitute teacher by providing information about, advocating for, and helping to increase appreciation and respect for this unique professional. According to the Bureau of Labor and Statistics, there are over 500,000 substitute teachers in 2020. These educators fill the shoes of the class's regular teacher for half a day up to several weeks. Substitutes apply to teach in a school district. They will receive notice from the district of an opening, sometimes hours, just hours before they're needed. And other times, substitutes fill in for a teacher when they are scheduled to be away. A substitute often doesn't know which subject they may be teaching from one week to the next. They are flexible and resilient educators who provide a bridge between full-time educators and their students. This observance aims to elevate the respect owed to the substitute educators. It is also a way to advocate for substitutes at all levels of education. The day also promotes being prepared for an absence at school and improving the receptiveness of substitute teachers. Substitute teachers come from every facet of life with experience in math, science, language arts, history, business, and more, focusing on the continued progress of the classroom's education. These teachers play a vital role in maintaining high levels of education in every school system. Substitute Educators Day is observed by some on the third Friday of November during American Education Week. And we thank our substitutes. We know that one of our trustees even started here as a substitute, and we appreciate that for having that lens, as well as some of our staff and even administrators. That's where they started off. And so it really gives for that broad experience, and those connections that our students make is invaluable. So thank you to all of our substitute educators.
Thank you, Dr. Zachary Ross. Under achievements, awards, and recognition, we have a lot to celebrate today and really every day in Ypsilanti Community Schools. And just in summary, before we give a round of applause to every achievement award and recognition this evening, we had our Erickson Points of Pride. We had our WIDA Test Coordinator of the Year Award, National STEM and STEAM Day, Education Support Professionals Day, National Parent Involvement Day, and our Substitute Educators Day. Let's give all of these wonderful individuals in our district a round of applause. Next, that takes us to item 5 on our agenda, which is a request for a closed session. Once the board goes into closed session, we will leave out of this room, we'll dismiss, and we'll come back to this room after a motion is taken and approved and supported. Is there a motion at this time for a request to go into closed session under Section 8(1)C OMA Collective Bargaining Strategy?
Madam Trustee Schindler, so moved.
Thank you. A motion has been made by trustee Schindler. Is there support for this motion?
Trustee Townsend, support.
Thank you. Supported by trustee Townsend. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? That motion carries. The Board of Education will convene in closed session at 6:55 PM. The time is 7:36. The Board of Education is back in open session. That takes us to action item 7 on our agenda under Human Resources, which is the approval of the YCEA Collective Bargaining Agreement. Is there a motion at this time?
Madam President Townsend. You ready? I'm sorry, Madam Secretary.
Rock, paper, scissors.
Move that the Board of Education approve the collective bargaining agreement between the district and the Ypsilanti Community Education Association, MEA/NEA, effective upon ratification through June 30th, 2026.
Thank you. A motion has been made by trustee Townsend. Is there support for this motion?
Support trustee Goodrich.
Thank you. Supported by trustee Goodrich. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Next, that takes us to the 2024 through 2026 school calendars. Is there a motion at this time?
Madam President, this is trustee Gainsley. I move the Board of Education approve the district local school or the district school calendars for the 24 to 2026 school years.
Thank you. A motion has been made by trustee Gainsley. Is there support for this motion?
Support trustee Townsend.
Thank you. Supported by trustee Townsend. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? That motion carries. Next, that takes us to item number 8, which is presentations. And at this time, we have our 2024-2025 budget update. At this time, I will turn it over to Dr. Zachary Ross.
Thank you, Madam President. And as Solomon Zhang gets the presentations up and ready on the, here on the projector, thank you. We are happy that our Director of Business and Finance has been really working to make sure that we have management between looking at the grants that have been removed this year, as this is the year that ESSER has ended, and our SEEK grant. So he's really been working behind the scenes to ensure that we can continue to manage with those changes. And there is the budget review and amendment conversation that is going to take place. So thank you, Damian Butler.
As promised in June, this is our first look at the budget and all the changes that we've had over the few months. This slide here is very important to me because this is an ongoing process. The information that we have now does change. We have different grants and movement in legislation that impacts our budget. So we're going to spend quite a bit of time looking at the over 4,000 accounts that we have in the district to impact all of our different areas. Today, we're going to talk about the general fund, including our federal grants. And we're going to talk a little bit about the grants that have ended as of September 30th, 2024. Federal grants at the end of their fiscal year. What we know right now is things are pretty much staying the same. Per pupil cost is the same. We don't anticipate an increase. Categoricals and all of those fundings are going to stay relatively stable. We continue to draw down our grants, Title I, Title II, III, use those throughout the district to fund different programming. Our Magna grant is having a big impact on what we do moving forward, as SEEK and ESSER have ended, and we have to readdress how we use those funds. Back in June, you adopted a budget of $86.6 million. That included ESSER funding that we had. And these, on the right-hand side are the expected expenditures. As we move forward, grants are ending, adjustments have been made. We've had a reduction because of SEEK and ESSER ending. It's a combination of about $16, $17 million with those two grants. ESSER was, we used ESSER in various areas across the district. We moved the middle school with ESSER. We did a lot of technology improvements through ESSER. We had we had a little bit of curriculum improvements and adjustments. So it was a wide range of funding covered for ESSER. SEEK covered a lot of professional development and academic supports. So as you see in our expenditures, we have a decrease in our basic programs and instruction just because those funds have gone away and we had to adjust those amounts. The Magna grant is used throughout those areas to support our basically K-12 Magna programs, the elementary Magna schools, the middle school, the IB program, the middle school going into the IB program at the high school. So that $5 million funding per year is spread out through those expenditures. The total expenditures matches the total revenue just based off of keeping it, wanting to have a framework. There will be some adjustments there as needs and funding change. So we're ongoing state. There are state grants that are involved, federal grants that are involved, micro grants come in. There are different things that are coming throughout the year. Legislation is a big piece of that. So that'll change how we do things. So these numbers will adjust again, but this is our baseline of where we want to be for spending. So as we move forward, we just continue to draw down our grants and use the funding that we have. We're going to continue to make budget adjustments. That I can tell you. The next time I'll present this is in around April timeframe, so we can have another budget adjustment before we start planning for 25-26 school year. That is the information. What questions might you have?
One of the questions I had was I saw that there was, so the Magna grant, we have those funds, correct?
Yes.
And so I saw that there was a reduction, well, there was an increase from debt service. It was from 5.6 million. Now that is 7.7 million. So can you just explain that adjustment?
So the debt increase is as we move through and our bonds start to get paid off, and the adjustment from our debt relief goes in. We have to make an adjustment for taxes and how we process those funds, because they come in as a increase, then we still have to pay out and keep the bond payments on schedule. That may change as well when we get to our next budget amendment.
And so I know there'll be a later conversation about Grizzly Camp, but with the current budget that we have, will we still be able to?
Yeah,
make
so
sure
we
have the proper money
moved
for that?
Grizzly Camp. I'm sorry to cut you off. We've moved Grizzly Camp to Title I as a funding source.
And with Grizzly Learning Camp, that's hopefully will be placed in the academic initiatives that we have been waiting for the funds for from Treasury. And that is in 3 years. You guys approved 3 years in that piece, as well as we applied for a different grant. So we're waiting. I know Dr. Coscarella is looking like, and don't forget that part, but that'll be in that presentation as well.
So
You stealing your thunder. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, trustee Goodrich.
I'm sorry, I hope I'm not cutting trustee Townsend off. So So those additional funds would allow us to keep offering Grizzly Learning Camp at scale to all of our students then. It wouldn't be restricted by just Title I.
Yeah, he doesn't want me to take his thunder. I want you to ask that again at his presentation. Please. He was like, don't you dare.
Other board question? I just have one quick one. I think you may have mentioned this, but if you didn't, could you just let us know if we are, we know this is one of our quarterly updates, but are we on pace to spend out all of our grant funds?
Yes, we are. So that's a big point of how we're moving forward and keeping our revenue coming in to make sure we're doing proper drawdowns, proper and timely drawdowns. So at the end of the year, we don't have any carryover.
Perfect. Thank you.
And,
That-
oh, go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, go ahead, trustee Townsend.
And then as far as the training with the new tech software, with the software that we have, everybody has been trained and that's going appropriately.
The training is ongoing, but we transition when we transition from and say it like that sounds kind of morbid. We have when our new payroll clerk came in, we were doing things manually a lot, so we changed and went automated. So those processes are showing us what was broken. We fixed some things, and as we fix that, just like when you drop your car off and pick it up, they find something else that's broke. We continue to improve our processes, and the training is a big part of our success.
Thank you.
Any other board questions or comments? Thank you, Mr. Butler.
Right, evening.
I'm gonna turn this back over to Dr. Zachary Ross for the next two presentations.
Thank you. And just for that final piece of the budget update, next month, you'll hear from the auditors of what happened through the audit and the closeout of the last year. So this is just for the amendment. Next, we'll have talent management regarding class sizes, staffing, and enrollment. As she's coming up, I'm still a little thunder just by saying when she talks about the numbers, because the numbers are really exciting. We have to remember there's a big difference between so the budget presentation is based off of the count numbers that we're getting from Tammy, our pupil accounting of 3875. These numbers are numbers of students in our faces that have come, and many of them have come after our count day. So you remember the 90-10%. So we'll get only 1% of these new students, but next school year is when we should start seeing, hopefully they stay with us throughout the year, because again, as you heard Ms. Sermon say that she got like 5 more and she's had 5 more. The numbers from that, especially the multilingual students, those refugees have really been coming in. But again, after count day, many of them came in. So you're going to see that reflected in her presentation. And we will not get the funding fully for them this year, but we'll see that next year.
Thank you very much, Superintendent Zachary Ross, and good evening again, board. So this is the annual student enrollment staffing presentation that comes from talent management and the HR department. And this is the relationship between how many students we have, how many staff we have, where our gaps are, and what some of our wins are. So here's some of our wins. I'm just going to go through them slowly. As Damian said, we now have an it does say electronic, but electronic onboarding system. So we used to, up till this year, we just started this year, and onboard everybody with paper. So now we have fingerprinting, and all your hire paperwork is electronic. A link is sent to you. It's completed. It's a much cleaner system. You get all of your I-9 information within 3 days, and you can validate it. And then you have actual data in the electronic system that says we did it. We successfully, I put that in there in anticipation, and so I'm glad. What, oh my, I'm having the weirdest night. Look at this. So anyway, I'll figure out how to get this clicker off my wrist. But we successfully negotiated 2 contracts, and it's been a very collaborative effort with both unions, really, really, some of them longer than others, but really a really nice collaborative effort. We have higher completion of safe schools. Safe schools are mandatory modules that nobody wants to do. The kicking and screaming, but they have to be done. They're the safety issues like Title IX and how to use proper ladders and our communication protocol so that people actually know what our processes are. So you don't just come in and you're thrown into the water. And we hired 59 new teachers this year during boot camp. I'm so excited. We had, and the $1,000 signing bonus was valid until September 30th. So anybody who came in boot camp received that $1,000 signing bonus. But with the SEEK dollars, it went away. But I think they were probably really happy in that first paycheck. And then we have the Magnet School grant, which is kind of a replacement for SEEK and the others. And the EL enrollment or the MLL enrollment is up by 128 students. So that is a real testament to the whole ELL team. And we have K3 Spanish immersion, where last year we started out with K, and then we went K1 and K2, and now we're at K3, and they're fully staffed. And we continue that really lucrative partnership with EMARC, working very closely with them. We have 5 new teachers this year for a total of 19, and we've retained all but 3. This is the HR dashboard that you're used to seeing in the board update. And this just gives us a screenshot in time of how many staff we currently have, what categories they're in, and HR works closely with technology. So we put the data in and then technology makes it look nice like this. So this is how many staff we have by category. No, it's not advancing sound. I don't know why. Whoop. That's okay. Okay, so this is where our vacancies are. And at the beginning of the year, we had less vacancies. We had a little attrition due to recall by Ann Arbor, and then some individuals left and went to other positions. So right now we have an early Head Start and an associate at Beatty. And I won't just read these all to you, but we're in the process of making offers to many of these positions now. Where our biggest gaps are special ed. Those are our hardest positions to fill, and they continue to be that. If you look at Holmes, we no longer have the 5th grade, but we do have the PE. Wise only has a 2nd grade teacher. Erickson, we're making an offer to a music teacher. And then we have, as you see in Estherbrook, some special education positions. We also need a few social workers, and I have an offer in the workings for that Spanish position at the middle school as well. YC2S is fully staffed. Unfortunately, we lost 2 of the EMARC teachers at ACE. They were part of that 3. They decided to go another course. That's their 2nd career in EMARC, and so sometimes it's not the best fit that they think it's going to be. We did employ strategies to keep them in here, but it keeps freezing. So here is a point in time of who is enrolled. I work closely with Clark Rotifer, our data coach, and Tammy Phelps, our pupil accounting, to get these numbers. So Beatty is down 11, but there's a really good explanation for Beatty. We decided to take on the early Head Start program. So for every slot for early Head Start, you have to give up 2 regular Head Start slots. So it looks like we're down 11, but we're actually even in Beatty. it's just down 11 from last year because of that exchange. We worked with WISD, they were doing a new grant and they wanted to be more competitive, to get that early head start in to their grant so that they would get awarded that 5-year grant. And we agreed to pilot one of the classrooms. Board, as you can see, is up significantly. YC2S is down. With YC2S, we see a lot of the students transitioning back into in-person. People are getting more and more confident as we get farther and farther away from COVID-19, the outbreak. Homes, you can see, it looks like there was a significant reduction, which they did leave homes, but the vast majority of those students went to Erickson and Estherbrook. So they didn't leave the district, they just left that particular building. Ys all the way down to the middle school are up significantly. YCHS is down some, but it all balances out in the end. So ACE is up as well as the other. So the other is like WAVE and students Y-High and WIMA and what is it, student for the deaf students for hearing impaired. And that number comes directly from our pupil accounting. So last year, when I was doing this presentation, we had 3762 enrolled. And this is as of October 23rd. Now we have 4259, which is 497 students up. Which is huge because a lot of districts are down. So going back to Liz and her team's hard work, you'll see where it's paying off in the buildings, where they're significantly up in multi-language learners by building. YC2S is even and homes went down some. And that's just a pie chart for you. This is how our student population breaks out as it relates to multi-language learners. And then this is just substantiates that. And then as we went through the contract, the only change that you will see in these negotiated CBA numbers is 3rd grade, and that went down from 32 to 30. All others remained the same. And just, oh, yes.
And every time we show that slide, I always feel the need to clarify that most of our classes are not even at these numbers.
This is so true. This is so true. We try to keep those classes in the 24-ish range so that it's, you know, more one-on-one instruction. Thank you. I appreciate that. And then here's just some of the things that we do for recruitment. Our seat concluded, as we said, but we still have our LEAP. We still use our district-wide website, excuse me. We are still actively engaged in the EMU teacher to para program. In fact, we had a graduate this year who is still at Beatty, and then another graduate who is at Perry. So they graduated, they came back. They do not have to come back. That's one thing that we didn't write this grants, but they do not have to come back. They just have to stay in Washtenaw County. So the fact that they came back is a testament to our staff and our administration. We're doing Proud Michigan Educators, Talent Together. We have one, they gave us one Talent Together individual that is at WISE right now, and they're doing like a pilot type of thing, and then we're gonna see where it goes from here. Talent Together pays a portion of their salary, and we pay the other portion of their salary. When we post on MASA and all their affiliates. So MSBO, it just goes out to everybody when we put it out there on MASA. Recruitment successes. There you'll see a picture of John Kim, who won that prestigious award in the state. Grizzly Learning Camp is integral in recruitment because people from outside of the district come and teach, and then they want to stay. We use Facebook, we use Indeed, we use U of M, we use Teach for America. I mean, just all of these avenues to get staffing, not only in the teachers, but also social workers, support staff, bus drivers. We're out there everywhere that we can be. And we do our own career fairs internally. And some other things that we use to attract staff is the mentoring program. So the mentoring program is very diversified now. It's not just a wholesale mentoring program. It's divided into 4 cohorts. It's early elementary, middle and high. And then within those cohorts, you have year 1s, 2, and 3. So they're not getting the same thing every year. So third years are not getting the same thing as first years. We diversified it. We have facilitators above each cohort that help keep it going with the principals to see where the needs are, to make sure their mentors and mentees are a good match. And then we have the 99D, which is new, which is really exciting. Then Magnet. Dr. Lopez has been working tirelessly with Liz and all of the other team to do the Grow Your Own. RAG funding, collaboration with WISD provides additional funding for the like ACE and Homes and the high school, as well as 21H. That is a collaboration with MDE, and that provides bonuses and stipends to ACE, Homes, and the high school. So they get funding, they get a certain per diem to attend meetings, and then they get certain bonuses based on how many meetings they attend to improve instruction in those buildings. Dr. Cascarella with the Rising Leaders. We have Dr. Abraham, who comes in and works with the principal coaches. We have Learning Focus Partners, so central office is affiliated with each one of the principals to support evaluation, and then also like day-to-day things that they may need help with. Again, Dr. Lopez, going back to him, curriculum support, phenomenal. We have instructional and culture and climate coaches in every building. Then our benefits, our top level, it's Blue Cross, Blue Shield, Delta Dental, as I spoke with you guys, very high level insurances at an affordable price. Right now we have, if you choose a separate annuity other than ORS, we work with strictly the standard. That's the name of the company. And then of course there's the Office of Retirement. And they have two choices now. You can get a standard pension, or you can get like a portable 401k like piece that you can take with you wherever you go. And then just kind of repeating a little bit of the stipends and from the partnerships that I talked about, and just many of the other items that we have. And then we have the Grizzly Awards. You guys know Raymond Alvarado works tirelessly to make that a really fun event, and staff really enjoy that. They really, I mean, last year we completely broke down Gerald Lynch, couldn't even speak, and everybody else was just really happy to be selected, because it's a really heartfelt recognition from the people that you actually work with and live with every day. And statistics for retention. So this is another side of that HR dashboard that you guys see that you don't often get in the board report, but it also retains this data for retention. So I put in, a point of time from last July to now. And right now our retention rate is at 81.61% district-wide for all staffing, support, administration, teachers, everybody. What questions might you have?
Any board questions, Trustee Townsend?
Yes, so one of the things I did notice in the report, and maybe you can elaborate on it. Historically, over time, years, I don't know how long ago, but we used to get a lot of teachers from EMU. Can you speak on how that relationship is going, or I don't need a long drawn out, but just has there been talks of how we can possibly engage their students that get hired here? And then I know WCC also has an education program, and how those students could possibly utilize some of the programs like Grow Your Own, or, some of the other programs that we have to get teachers certified quicker.
Okay, so with EMU, we're working mainly with that teacher to para, as well as attending their their recruitment fairs. And so we also worked with their, presenting and honoring our staff so that we can pull in and attract. And then who was the other one?
From their student teachers, when we had the bonuses, they, because we are where most of them do their student teachers. So the methods classes are held here at Estabrook. And then the student teachers will get part of that sign-on bonus is where you saw that. So if they signed on with us early, they got a bonus. And so we really partnered closely with EMU.
Thank you so very much. And then WCC, we keep in contact with them in recruitment and we attend all of their fairs to try to pull in those staff and work with them.
And we just started a new program in which our students will become teachers. So it's a grant that we got from Michigan Department of Education through the Washtenaw Intermediate School District. And our district, as well as Lincoln, will work with them on writing. We've been writing the curriculum and the program. We actually have a meeting this week, I think. It's called High School Pathways.
Thank you.
Other board questions, trustee Fields and then trustee Goodrich.
I was going through and I can't remember, and this was I was asking trustee Goodrich earlier today, and you're talking about the different teachers, and I don't remember the program or even if we started. Remember we were gonna work, is it Jason, the gentleman that with the teachers and what was the name of that program?
It's IAG,
Okay.
International, I don't
Yeah.
trying to remember what the
Have we
heck
started-
IAG means.
Have we started that process?
Yes, that's
which
the
part?
teacher that's at Ford in the Spanish immersion program that Ms. Sermon mentioned.
Yep, and I wrote that down, so we only have one, so how is that, you're looking at like, what does that look like?
So it was more of a journey than we expected, trying to work with those visas, and we had more candidates, but they fell off at the IAG end. And so we're gonna just continue to work closely with Jason and his team. Now that we have Lady here, it's really hard to say that because it sounds disrespectful, but that's her real name. Now that we have Lady.
L-E-I though.
Yes,
L-E-I-D
Leidy
or something.
and so now that she's here, she's kind of being the pioneer. Like, okay, it's okay to come to YCS. It's okay for us at YCS to support those visas and the process. It was a long process. In fact, it took, I don't even know how many pieces of paperwork and proof that we were a viable district. Superintendent had to do multiples. I had to do multiples. We worked really hard to get everybody here. In fact, Lady herself was delayed until September 29th due to, whatever the governments are doing and as far as getting the visas and getting everybody in order. But it's going well. They helped find housing, transportation. She brought her family, so she's not going to be out there isolated alone. And then if you know Miss Sermon, Celeste Green, and Marianne Yeager, they're going to make sure that feels welcome in the community.
And that is definitely, I still want to put out there the last option, like, so
Yes.
maybe for some of the special ed things we can't find, but we, as Ms. McCarty said, a lot of those positions were filled at the beginning of the year, so we wouldn't have gone for them. We did go, reach out for that position that she's filling because it is a specialized. She's in that Spanish immersion. It's very difficult to get people who know both of those and can speak fluently. So that was one of those specialized positions as an example.
Any other questions, trustee Fields?
I'm good, yep, yeah.
Okay, trustee Goodrich.
So I guess I have a couple of kind of adjacent questions. I'm really excited about this growth in our amazing community of multi-language learners. And I know that, to support them, we need to have EL certified teachers. So can you speak at all to recruitment efforts to make sure that we have the teachers in place to support the students in the buildings where those populations are growing?
Yes, that's the huge collaboration with that team that I just mentioned, as well as IAG, those two factors, and you look like you have something to add.
The grow your own, that's
Grow your
part
own,
of
for
too,
sure.
Like, so we're paying the tuition, because I know we're saying it, but people might not get that we paid that with that grant, we're able to pay the tuition. So when our teachers choose to go to and get that endorsement, they don't have to pay tuition for that. We're paying for that. We work with Dr. Lopez, who's worked with Wayne State University.
Wayne State, yeah, and Concordia. I don't know if Concordia does the EL piece, but.
To do so that we know as we're anticipating the growth, we have people who both know the students, know our district, and now are equipped to teach in that area.
Okay, so we're assisting them in getting that
Endorsement.
endorsement. Thank you. And I had just one more building specific question. and it's really cool to see this growth. I noticed that particularly at ACE, it was proportionally a really big jump in the multi-language learner population. And I just realized we don't have ACE broken down in person versus virtual. So I realized you don't have these data in front of you, but I was curious if we have a sense what proportion of that growth in the multi-language learner population at ACE is in the in-person program and what proportion is in the virtual program. And again, I don't expect you to have an answer for that right this minute.
I don't, but it looks like Dr. Lopez, I was gonna get you the data.
Now at ACE, and they are ABA, but the way that we decided to do it is we have a teacher who's going here to the building, we see the service members. So the ABA students that come in for that, we create a space and they're coming in to be taught by that teacher.
So they get the EL part in person, but the rest of their instruction is online.
And students have a good, and this, certainly that's the range.
And that's also what I'm really excited, because we've got somebody from ACE, Ms. Tillerson here. They have been working with any of the ABA students beginning last year to bring them in person. They want them to know that they can come, so they have a whole onboarding piece of how do you come back in person? Can you transition at this time? And so even if they are choosing ABA, they're trying to figure out how to connect them to the building. And so that has been a big culture shift, and they are really trying to get them to be in person. Oh, she like want to stand. She's not my student, but when I don't see her, I send her. I said, I haven't seen you. She said, I'm coming out. I'll see you when I come into another place. For me, it's just really, I like to direction that. And many of them is because of especially we talked about when people are coming from different countries and they have to meet our graduation requirement, it'll keep them on track because they maybe have not come with that transcript where they would be. So they would be in school way longer than our age permits. So they're coming in, they're learning a new culture, a new country, and a new language. But then that ACE graduation, I think you have 18 credits. 18, oh, okay, my brain is working all right. 18 credits versus the traditional high school credits that they would need. So if they're coming in and we're translating their transcripts, that is the better acceleration for them. And so now it's a nice cohort. They'll be on track. They can still graduate. They can have their services. But we know that if they're coming from a different culture, especially if they're a refugee and they went to school to 6th grade or something, we have to figure out how to accommodate.
Yeah, are we able to support them then with the technology? And I can imagine that being another barrier, and just having the internet connectivity to do an online program. I'm really glad to hear there is this in-person opportunity and that is growing.
So
Geraldin's
I'm
still
proud
doing-
to, I was about to
go
say,
ahead. No,
go ahead. You can,
No, Jarrett Lynn's still doing that.
for any student.
Yep, go ahead. Yep, for all students across the district, the technology support, where if you can't afford the technology, then her program through, what's the
Our
name?
program, the district's program.
Yes,
Through Eastern Michigan University Game Above, they assist us, as well as through Comcast, we are able to pay for the families, we pay for their internet.
yes.
Okay, cool. And that's being communicated in a means that their families can understand and get.
Yeah, that's why
access
Liz's
to.
team is essential, because they make sure that they understand what kind of services they can get. Anything that, I mean, they have even I've seen the coaches we get, like Liz says, not Marianne Yeager, even says if they need a coach, like they have been above and beyond when these families come to the country, making sure they have exactly what they need.
That's great. And I know she's gone already, but I can't believe Liz can be in so many places at once.
Well, her whole team, Marianne is amazing,
She is.
Celeste Green, the entire, they've even added now, previous secretary from Estabrook.
Julie Bishop.
Jilly is now on the team, so we've added more people to the team. And people who know our families already.
Other board questions?
When you say you're paying for tuition, that also includes the testing fees and all of that?
Yes. For the grow your own, yes.
Other board questions or comments? Thank you, Ms. McCarthy.
And next, we're just excited. I know it's this time of the year that it's a little bit further out, but we know that we wanted to make sure we came with the Grizzly Learning Camp. Last board meeting, we had lots of presentations, so we wanted to make sure before it gets out of our sight, the feedback and the information that happened through an important extension of our ongoing learning opportunities, Grizzly Learning Camp. And so Dr. Crastarella will be sharing about Grizzly Learning Camp.
Thank you, Dr. Zachary Ross. Good evening, board. Happy to be with you this evening to talk about Grizzly Learning Camp. So just briefly, we're going to talk a little bit about some thank yous, some planning, participation, feedback, and plans for next year. Certainly want to thank all of the staff and folks that made Grizzly Learning Camp happen, including our executive cabinet and, of course, the school board with their support. I love this picture of this young man, especially as he's feeding the tortoise down here. To me, this is what Grizzly Learning Camp really exemplifies. Hands-on learning with students actively engaged and really joyful about their learning as well. Just a few of our partners that come in various ways, shapes, and forms. So, for example, 826 Michigan, they provide writing, professional development to our teachers. Some of our teachers visited the Detroit Zoo with their students, the Leslie Science Center, Henry Ford Museum, and certainly our foster grandparents program has been a part of Grizzly Learning Camp as well. Logistics, this last year, we trimmed down Grizzly Learning Camp from 7 weeks to 6 weeks. You might recall during COVID years, because we got state money, we were required to do 8 weeks of Grizzly Learning Camp, and that was really taxing on our teachers. They got very little break in between the traditional school year ending and then a new one starting. So the last 2 years, it's been 7 weeks, and the teachers and staff said, how about 6 weeks? Because it's really, really hard, and because they put so much into Grizzly Learning Camp. So we took their voice and consideration into that, and this year Grizzly Learning Camp was 6 weeks. It was still Monday through Thursday, half days. You can see the sites that were up there. We're anticipating, but you know, this is still very early in the process for next year. We're anticipating using East Middle School again, just because we don't want that school to be abandoned, and we want students at some point to keep continuously using it so that it doesn't fall under new code without students using it in a couple of years. So, you know, we'll have to work that out with certainly with facilities and transportation and technology. Excuse me. One thing I do want to point out, you'll notice that the middle school grade level was a little bit different. Principal Charles Davis said, I really want the 5th graders so that the students that come to Grizzly Learning Camp are meeting our staff, getting acclimated to what we do in middle school, and begin forming those relationships in the summer. So the 5th graders enrolled and went to the middle school. By all accounts, it was wildly popular. Everything was great, was seamless in that transition. We did do 1.5 hour staggered times, which really helped with transportation. Buses were much more on time this last summer with Grizzly Learning Camp, and why I didn't think of that 4 years ago, I don't know, but I did last year, and we got it worked out. Staff didn't quite like staying until 1:30, which I understand. It's the summer, you want to get out and enjoy the weather. But I think they appreciated the trade-off of buses being on time, and families really appreciated the buses being on time and not having to wait. Speaking of transportation, wildly successful. You might recall at the very beginning, we put out there that high school students would probably have to have bus tokens again. But through our initiatives that you see up on the screen up there, we were able to provide transportation for high school and A students that wanted it. Some of the students still wanted to use the bus tokens and bus transportation. We honored that request as well. But I was really happy that we were able to provide our own transportation for those students that needed it and the families that might not feel comfortable taking the city transportation. In the bottom there, you can see Mother Goose at Perry Elementary with some of the kindergarten students telling stories. So planning last year, we began in December of 2023. I expect that to continue again now. Certainly the executive cabinet had a lot of input on the planning for Grizzly Learning Camp, what adjustments we would need to make. All staff are always invited to give feedback and to plan on the next coming year. And we also use the feedback from the summer of 2023 in our planning for this past summer of 2024. I also love this picture with the young lady at the fish farm catching a fish. You can see the fish right here. She's both excited and nervous all at the same time. And the second, yes, the students, absolutely. Yeah. They, the students were adamant that the A students should be at the high school with the high school students. Because originally we were going to have them at their own school. That's kind of what the staff was advocating for. And the students, it was right here in this room. It was just like it was yesterday. They're right here saying, and it was interesting. It was the high school students that were mainly advocating strongly for the A students to be at the high school, which I found very heartwarming and very encouraging. It was great. This past year, we worked closely with the University of Michigan in the MARC program. You as a board, you know, you approved 2 budgets for those MARC candidates to pay off their fees. And I think it's a great investment. You saw from Ms. McCarty's presentation that there's a high retention with those staff members. And I firmly believe it's because we're making an investment with them and showing them how much we value and care about them, and having them also sign a form that they pledge to stay through the 28-29 school year. I'm very honest with them. I'm upfront. I say, now there's nothing that we can do. We can't come after you legally to get that money back because it's part of your salary. But it is an honor system, and you're signing this document pledging that you will stay. So it's more than just a handshake or a commitment. They actually have to sign that document. So we will find ways to make sure that we continue that agreement with the MARC program. Transportation, I think, was a big success again this year, making sure that we were able to provide transportation for the high school students. And again, project-based learning just continues to grow, especially during Grizzly Learning Camp. The 2 through 4th grades really rocked it out this year. You'll see a couple pictures here where these students use Jenga blocks to build some structure, and you can see their project was here, and then their product was here about their structures that they had to build that were strong. So a little bit about funding and expenses. The sources of funding there on the left, ESSER 3, Title I, SEEK and LEAP minimally. I feel like I have to have like a funeral or a homegoing ceremony for SEEK because it's ended, and I'm just so depressed about it. It's such a great grant. We're very hopeful that in the spring there'll be another round of applications, and if so, we'll certainly apply. Salaries was roughly 800,000. Field trips was another 200,000. And when I say field trips, I'm also including like the EMU Invent, that program where some of their instructors come here sometimes, and then we go out to Eastern Michigan as well. Supplies could be anything from paper all the way up through pencils and art projects. We give each of the teachers about $100 if they want to do a project-based learning and they need to go buy something at a store and for their individual project-based learning. If they can do that, they just turn in the receipt to do so. So all total up this year, we spent about $1.1 million. As Superintendent talked about earlier, we have a couple of funding sources coming up for the summer, including applying for the extended time school year grant to the tune of about $1 million. That was submitted about 4 weeks ago, Dr. Lopez, and we should find out pretty soon that we will get that grant. And then we also included 3 years of funding in the debt relief money that's coming from the state of Michigan. So things are looking good for budgeting and budget. Participation, we had 6 weeks, that's 24 days, a total of 96 hours. It's not very much, really, when you think about it, 96 hours. But man, did the kids have a lot of fun and learn a lot. If you haven't seen it yet, there's a picture over here. Oops. Sorry. There's a picture right here of some of the students that helped paint the Estabrook Library. And if you haven't seen the Estabrook Library, it's amazing. The transformation is, it's just a cool place for kids. And what was really fun about it is the kids got to help paint that library. So they have a huge investment in it. Just a little bit of comparison from the summer of 23 to the summer of 24. Enrollment was up a little bit, about 100 students, which is good news. Mainly you see that enrollment occurring in that 2nd through 5th grade through middle school level. I know Principal Davis recruited heavily at the middle school to get kids to come to Grizzly Learning Camp, which is a great thing. So some of the things that we're going to continue for next year, I'm not going to read all of those to you. I do want to stress, though, that love our relationship with all of the different partners that we have. We couldn't do it alone, and neither could the teachers. So it's fabulous that we do have all of those partners. At the high school, 119 credits were recovered during Grizzly Learning Camp from all the students that were there. One of my failures with Grizzly Learning Camp is the data with students, and are we making a difference academically? I wish I could provide a report, at least correlationally, saying that these students went and this is where their scores are now yet. I'm trying like heck, but I'm just not there yet. One of the things that I tried this year was to work with technology, which technology was great in getting kids into PowerSchool and creating a bubble so we could actually track them. But the problem became when teachers tried to log into PowerSchool, and we had different teachers going into different classes and different logins, and we just weren't able to do a good job of that. So next year's plan is to tag the kids early as they register. That way that they're tagged and we can follow them better that way. That way I can come to you with at least correlational data saying that this student was there and this is how they're doing. This is how they did at the end of last year with the NWA, and this is how they're doing this year. So again, that's a growing pain on my part that I would like to work on. Growth for next year, continue to work with transportation. Attendance seemed to be a big issue as well. What I couldn't figure out is some families registered and never ever attended. And so anecdotally, I asked a lot of people, I sent out a survey and I only got 19 responses from all the families that registered, and you saw how many did register, over 1,400, and only got 19 responses. But the answers were just all over the place, maybe because it was a half day, maybe because people didn't know soon enough, even though registration was open in, I think, early March. So I'm going to continue on working on attendance. The teachers, I can't say every single one of them, but I know many of them, and we ask them over and over to do it again. If a family doesn't come, call and invite them in. It's not a punishment. We're not trying to scold anyone, but you sign up for Grizzly Learning Camp. Come on, we're having lots of fun. And if you can't come, well, what are the barriers? Is it transportation? What can we do to help make sure you come? So attendance is something that we want to continue to work on for next year. And the budget, I feel pretty good about where we are with the budget, and that we do have the money to continue to offer the camp the way that we have in the past. A little bit of the feedback. I am not going to read any of this to you. It's there for you to read at your own. But I did want to include it because we did survey the staff. Overwhelming positive feedback, both the length of the day, the time, things that we've done well, and again, things that we could do next year. Communication, you can see, scored really high. The ones are excellent. The sixes are really, that's at the low end. So to me, that was a good sign that we're doing a pretty good job of communication. Always can get better with that. And then these are the responses from the families. Again, we sent this out to every one of our families. I was wrong. It was 23 responses, not 18. But again, even of the 23 responses, it was overwhelming positive about Grizzly Learning Camp. Love the pictures. These young people are studying seeds, cucumber seeds, in middle school. And I actually tried to get the student's attention, and he was so engrossed in looking at his seeds that I interrupted his learning, and he kind of gave it a stink eye, like, what are you doing? I'm trying to learn. Really just highly engaged students doing lots of great things. What questions might you have?
Any questions? Trustee Townsend?
Always start with
She
trustee.
can go.
Do you have a cap number for the attendance? Like, is there a cap of how many students can be registered for a Grizzly Camp?
That's always really hard. At preschool, we do, just
Okay.
because we have so many classrooms that are licensed for preschool. So at Perry, and I think it's about 130 preschool students that we're able to accommodate. The rest of the classes, it just, can we get enough teachers? So that's always the balance. How many students register and how many teachers? So it's always negotiating. Sometimes there'll be an email, hey, I need a few more kindergarten teachers or a few more second grades. But other than that, not a real cap.
And do we have a process, for instance, if we have a waiting list or some scragglers, that come in and just miss the deadline by a day or so?
Yeah, I have to get better at that.
Okay.
We did have it last year where there was a cutoff and we sent a note to families. The way this system works is as soon as you register, you get an automated email back saying you're registered. And then once preschool did actually get to that cap, so we had to create a waiting list. We do need to follow up better with that waiting list though, but all the families said that they were coming, so we
And then
didn't have to go back and.
My last question is for the students that are not YCS students. On the survey, is there any questions that would ask, what is the possible reason that you may not want to attend YCS in an effort to recruit?
Okay. There is no question like that, but we certainly can add it. That's a good idea. Thank you.
Okay. No, they don't.
I know some.
Yeah.
That's how we turned over so many more students. We started them and the principals met with the families and started the registration process. It was a great opportunity.
And if they live within the catchment area on a current bus route, we would even allow them to use our transportation. Now, if they live out of district, they have to get here on their own.
Yeah, it's good to capture, especially the students that are in IPSI that are going
That's
to
right.
other school
Yeah.
districts.
Yep.
Mhm.
So,
Oh, sorry. You go on, I can wait. I can wait.
sorry, I realize you already have more than enough things on your plate, but I noticed in the feedback that families do identify the half day as one of the challenges. Are there any partners that you've been able to explore that you might explore working with to help achieve full day coverage for working families?
Thank you. Yes, we've tried a couple of different things and it hasn't worked out really well. We approached the YMCA and they were not interested. We approached a private daycare company, at least to try to do preschool and kindergarten. Some of the older kids might be, still be able to go home. But again, that was a tough sell. We did 2 years ago contract with a company and I'll just be honest with you, it was not good. What they promised and what they delivered were two very different things and not in a good way. I'm still exploring it though, because I do agree with you. I think that that's really hard on families that do have to work to find alternate care for the other half of the day. So maybe we can do some things within staff. I can talk to Bright Futures again to see if they would be willing to go in the afternoon, at least for the younger kids. So we're exploring. So if anybody has any ideas, I'm open to them.
I didn't really have a question. I just wanted to, for me, my grandson said he had fun. I don't know if you were at the last meeting. He was a high school student, so the recovery part for him, he said the process of him learning was easier. I don't know if it was, different teachers, but for whatever reason, he didn't really grasp it doing the regular years, but he did extremely well in high school and he liked it and he still like it. So I just wanted to say, so it worked for him. So I just
That's great to hear.
to say that.
Other board comments or questions? Thank you so much, Dr. Pascarella. Looking forward to this year.
Thank you.
Next, that takes us to our first public comment portion for this evening, and I will read the public comment protocol. Pursuant to Board of Education Policy 0167.3, the board recognizes the value of public comment on educational issues and the importance of allowing members of the public to express their views. Please limit statements to 3 minutes in duration. Ms. Tillerson.
Good evening. On behalf of Ypsilanti Community Education Association, I want to thank the board for accepting and passing our contract this evening. I appreciate you for that. And I also want to thank YCS administration, negotiation team for negotiating with us. You know, when people don't understand that when you negotiate, you don't get everything you want, but I think we have a good contract. It took a long time and people was worried, but guess what? Our unit, or our district, is the only unit in Washtenaw that has negotiated all the prohibited substances back into the contract. We are the first. So we probably will be a model. Our contract will probably be looked at by other districts to follow, to see what we got, and to either have the same language or to build on it. So for me, I think that's a great accomplishment. So I thank you. I thank each and every one of you, and thank you. And also, one more thing. I wasn't gonna say this, but I am gonna say it. Thanksgiving, our Thanksgiving luncheon, put it on your calendar. It is Tuesday, November the 26th, from 11 to 2 at 8. So make sure you mark it on your calendar and please come. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Tillerson. Next, that takes us to item 10, which is our consent agenda. I noticed one correction on the consent agenda that I will share with Ms. Haynes, but is there a motion at this time?
Madam President, Trustee Schindler, I move that the Board of Education approve the October 7th, 2024 regular board meeting minutes, October 21st, 2024 special board meeting minutes, and personnel matters as per the presented list dated 10/30/24, new hires and resignations.
Thank you. A motion has been made by Trustee Schindler. Is there support for this motion?
Support, Trustee Gainsley?
Thank you. Supported by Trustee Gainsley. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? That motion carries. Next, that takes us to our action item under Business and Finance, which is the acceptance of the Current Services Incorporated proposal for Devlin Field. Is there a motion at this time?
Trustee Townsend moved that the Board of Education approve the YCMS Devlin Field bid award to Current Surfaces Incorporated in the contract amount of $102,800.
Thank you. A motion has been made by Trustee Townsend. Is there support for this motion?
Trustee Fields, I support.
Thank you. Supported by Trustee Fields. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? That motion carries. Next, that takes us to our second public comment portion for this evening. Ms. Haynes, did any cards come in? Thank you so much, Ms. Haynes. Next, that takes us to our Board of Education Subcommittee reports. Are there any reports at this time from the board?
Yes, Trustee Fields. The communications team, we met on October 14th, I believe that was, yes. So, they were able to go over a couple of things that they're doing as far as, Lambert. We discussed, they wanted to have, AMU concentrate, wanted to teacher, they wanted an article about the, our new training building, and maybe talk to someone in the community to get some feedback on how, how they feel about it, what their thoughts are behind it. So I think they're still looking. I'm not sure if we decided on anyone yet. Do you know?
It was me.
It was you.
It was me.
It was Trustee Townsend. So we did recommend her. We highly she recommended it. And have they interviewed you already?
The interview did take place and
Okay.
the the written interview took place a couple of weeks ago
Okay.
when we left for Vegas. And the radio interview took place today.
Okay.
And that will be coming out on WEMU on Wednesday.
Okay, great, great. See, See, we had the right person in place for that. And then, they were talking about the highlights, and it looks like Julie had gave us an opportunity there. They're interviewing like 13 spotlights. And then you're also gonna be partnering with someone. They have already interviewed most of the board, I think. Jillian had one, Meredith, and I think we still have a couple more to do, and there's just gave us some options as far as partners with that, which Julie is gonna work on for us as well. And then we had the Together Tuesdays. They've been, is that all rolled in together? That's all, because they said 13 spotlights and then Together Tuesdays. So I guess it's all one thing. So we talked about that. And was there an interview? Dr. Zachary, did you have an interview recently? Or video that you just did? I don't think I saw it, but I had it in my notes.
Yeah, I've been doing quite a few interviews
Yes.
with several of the newspapers, as well as I was in district administration, the national magazine.
Oh, okay. Okay, so that's all I have. So I was so glad we finally got a chance to meet and get some feedback from Lambert about what they were doing in the community. And as far as our communication, it looks like they are what's going on right now. That's all I have from the communications subcommittee.
Thank you, trustee Fields.
Yes.
Any other subcommittee reports?
Yes, the Financial and Operations Subcommittee also met on October 14th. We received updates from facilities in regards to all of the updates for the middle school, Devlin Field. Everything escapes my mind, of course, today. But basically, we're on track for all of the list of repairs and maintenance items that they talked about, that they had on their plans to do. So, and budget-wise, we're still on track with those items. So thank you to facilities and Mr. Butler and his team.
Right. Thank you, trustee Townsend. Other subcommittee reports?
Trying to think.
All right, seeing none, that takes us to board superintendent comments. Board members, what comments do you have?
Go ahead.
Let me turn my mic on. A couple of us came back after presenting in Vegas last week, and then we also presented at MSAB. So we had a great time. We got a lot of support from different participants and members who attended both conferences. So I think we represented YCS well. And, we keep getting invites, so, we're just moving on to bigger and greater things. So that's really nice. Another thing on here. Let me look at my notes. I took some notes. That may be it, but just wanted to highlight that, we both presented at both events, in Lansing and in Vegas, and I think it turned out really well. I think we represented well as always. That's what I have.
Thank you, trustee Fields. Other board comments?
I just wanted to ditto trustee Fields in regards to the board's experience in Vegas. It was very rewarding. We got to meet some celebrities. Of course, I won the Living Single cast and crew. And so I'm just excited about that. It was always a good time to represent the district. YCS is very highly respected, I would say, on a national level. So I just look forward to us continue to doing great things and moving forward. Also, please be on the lookout for an email in regards to WASB dates. Those dates have been solidified for the upcoming year, so I'll get that out to you all by tomorrow morning.
Thank you, trustee Townsend. Other board comments? I'll just quickly ditto what the board members said about the MESB and conference, the CUBE conference that we attended. Lots of great feedback. Also want to mention that there might be an opportunity for some of our board members to attend the upcoming NABC conference, which is being held in Atlanta in mid-November, so stay tuned. And just want to congratulate the district and the union on reaching a new collective bargaining agreement, which is a 2-year contract that is retro to July 2024 and goes all the way until 2026. Just want to say, we know this was a collaborative effort, lots of long hours put in on both sides. And I know you all were working tenaciously to make sure you reached an agreement that benefits the district and the members. And also our calendar is also approved for those 2 years. So I just wanted to say, I know you're here, Ms. Tillerson, and administration is here. We made it. So I just want to say congratulations again, job well done on both sides. And the last thing that I will say is, if you haven't already, go vote.
Yes.
Dr. Zachary Ross.
Thank you, Madam President. I just want to echo again, thank you to the YCEA leadership team, as well as the negotiating committee for working with us. It came down to, at the end, really working specifically with the officers. And so they just, the whole team put in a lot of work, and especially under the leadership of the president and vice president. So I just want to say thank you very much. So now we have both the YCEA and the YCESPA contracts completed, and that is wonderful for our district, wonderful for recruiting, as we see increases in the salaries as well, especially our starting salary. And so we want to really get news about that out, because we see we have few postings. So we'll make sure that people know about that, as well as some other nice benefits for our deserving staff members. So congratulations. Also, you heard about the calendar. The calendar will be updated on the website. There are not many changes from what's been up there to draft. I think it was one day that had a correction of what the day was, but it still was the same day on the calendar. So people don't need to anticipate some major calendar change. It is the calendar, and the calendar rides with the contract. So it's a 2-year calendar to go with the 2-year contract. But this is the month of Thanksgiving. So I just want to again thank everyone. Thank I don't hear students, staff, parents, community supporters for just continuing to support YCS, and thank this board for your service. The work you guys do behind the scenes is tireless hours, and now you're even with the presentations, you have to go and study those and to present at CUBE and the MASB conference. And so you not only show up here and at the school events and throughout the community, you're also taking time to have that additional learning opportunities. So I just thank you for that, and for you leading the way. We know that tomorrow there's the vote, and there's going to be additional people coming on, and you already have an onboarding process. And I saw other people at the MASB and CUBE conference say, well, what are you doing? I'm like, well, they got a plan. They have a plan. And so when they seek you out, they should. Just a reminder to the board that SJ Apple is working with the strategic planning. They've been going through and meeting with kinds of people throughout our district. And so on November 11th and 12th, you guys are going to be interviewed as well. Also, the Operations and Finance and Operations Subcommittee is going to be asked to meet before the next board meeting to prepare for the audit. That's just the process we always try to do ahead of time, so that you will be asked for some dates, as well as making sure coming up soon is that NABSE, the National Alliance of Black School Educators Conference in Atlanta, November 20th to the 23rd. And I know Julie sent out something, but if you are hoping to go, those rooms fill up fast. So she wanted me to make sure to send those reminders tonight to please let her know if you would like to go. Again, just thank you for just everything that you've done to ensure that we've got a school district that has that high expectations and high levels of support. You see the student count is growing every year, and this year to see the 4,000 mark, and knowing that when I came, it was a 3,100 on that form that we did. So from 3,100 to over to 4,200 is extremely, that it just tells about people have more confidence in what we're offering, the quality. And so again, I just thank our educators and support staff, because you're the ones that are closest to the students. We appreciate you and our families for having trust in us.
And I did say I didn't have any more comments. Thank you so much, Dr. Zachary Ross, but I do just want to take a second to thank, Dr. Zachary Ross and Dr. Lopez for all of their support in helping to make CUBE and MASB happen for us to work in collaboration with us. It's been a joy. And also Ms. Haynes, who works tirelessly to get us all together and prepared to go. It does not go unnoticed, all the things that go into that. So I just wanted to take the time to thank you and to thank this board for showing up and being supportive and doing the work. So thank you, everyone. It is 8:50.